The Nintendo Gamecube launched back in September 2001 for Japan, and a couple months later on November the 18th in North America. Unlucky Europeans wouldn't get their hands on it until the following year, but the wait was well worth it for one of the best looking games consoles of all time, of course. The Nintendo Gamecube is a beautiful, compact piece of kit, as we all know. Using the jack of all trades direction of its competitors, the console concentrated on doing just one thing: playing games well. Its striking indigo colour, or grey depending on which version you had, the big chunky A button on the control, the unique little disc and infamous carry handle on the back ultimately worked against it in an era of slick all-in-one game machines. However, it was a powerful little box that played host to a fabulous library of games. This was one of the last time Nintendo put itself in direct competition with Sony and Microsoft in pure spec terms before changing tack when they released the Nintendo Wii. Today we continue our countdown of the top 50 games ever released for the Nintendo Gamecube. This video will focus on positions 40 through 31, all based on user ratings. Number 40. Baten Kaitos Origins. User score 8.24 out of 10. The first and only sequel to Baten Kaitos Eternal Wings in the Lost Ocean, this offered some gameplay tweaks but didn't fundamentally alter the base experience from the first game. It was released in 2006 when the alien GameCube was on, to be fair, its very last legs, and the developers made the decision not to move it to the upcoming Wii console. With hindsight, that was obviously an error, as it would likely have gotten a lot more attention had it been released on the Wii. Number 39. Mega Man X Collection. User score 8.25 out of 10. Compiling the first 6 Mega Man X games into one package, this was a great way for long-time fans to replay the best games in the series, or to catch up for those who might have missed a couple of entries. Even ignoring some of the lesser entries, just having the first 3 on one disc was a treat for fans of the game, and it's the only way to officially play Mega Man Battle and Chase on a Nintendo console. Number 39. Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. User rating 8.26 out of 10. The follow-up to Pokemon Colosseum, the Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness released in 2005 and once again had you catching shadow Pokemon to take down the evil Cypher. Like its predecessor, you can connect your Game Boy Advance to transfer Pokemon into the games to be used in battle and trading. It still provided a decent 3D Pokemon experience before the mainline games went to 3D. And again, this is one of my favourite games of all time, and I believe is sorely underrated here. It's a brilliant Pokemon adventure. Number 37. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. User score 8.31 out of 10. It's easy to look back at these games and imagine things were better in the past. For most genres, that is a complete fallacy, but when you look at Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, it's arguably true. Some might prefer Pro Skater 2 or 4, but this is a classic in the skateboarding genre. The focal point and pinnacle of Skating X gaming cultural crossover before the series went off the boil a little bit and started trying a little too hard in the mid-2000s. Even people with zero interest in skateboarding, like myself actually, know who Tony Hawk is, and it's thanks to these brilliant games of which Pro Skater 3 might be the best. Number 36. Viewtiful Joe. User score 8.32 out of 10. Crackling with energy and celluloid action, Viewtiful Joe is a side-on brawler that has one of the fabled Capcom 5 exclusives, which would end up finding their way on to other platforms. With an intricate combat system, it skirts into fighting territory with a dusting of VFX that change the flow of combat and enable you to chain combos and use strategies to beat your way through Movie Land and rescue film fanatic Joe's girlfriend. We haven't heard from Joe in a good long while, but it's hard to think of a character who would fit more snugly in to the Super Smash Bros. Roster. Number 35. Burnout 2 Point of Impact. User score 8.33 out of 10. Despite the frequency with which we do it, crashing your car in a video game is usually a sign of failure. However, the developers Citrion injected the Burnout games with high-risk thrills that rewards you for being a bad driver with its addictive crash mode. The sequel improved on the original in almost every way, and is an absolute blast to play. Number 34. Spiderman 2. User score 8.33 out of 10. Spiderman 2 took the basic premise of Treyarch's first Spider-Man, a movie game, and fixed practically everything that was wrong with it. Spidey no longer shot webs into the clouds and magically traversed the sky. Each web is shot connected to a point on the building in a properly open world New York. Regardless of its flaws, the success of the core web swinging mechanic and the satisfaction derived from simply swinging around the city helped gloss over the rather bog standard and repetitive fetch quest gameplay and delivered the finest example of a Spiderman game available on a Nintendo platform. Number 33, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. User score 8.35 out of 10. I am quite partial to the Nintendo 64 entry in this series, but developer Camelot didn't do much wrong when it came to the Gamecube iteration. Featuring 16 playable characters and courses containing Mushroom Kingdom staples such as warp pipes and chain chomps, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour takes up a gear without reinventing the game. Hardly revolutionary, but there's only so much you can really do with golf. Number 32, Beyond Good and Evil. User score 8.36 out of 10. A classy action adventure, Beyond Good and Evil spins a potent yarn of politically intricate puzzle solving and investigation. Protagonist Jade must stealthily acquire evidence as she explores the planet of Hillies to aid the resistance and bring down the Dooms, a bunch of evil aliens suspected of pulling the strings of a military dictator that has recently risen to power. The base gameplay is fantastic, but it's world building and atmosphere that really sets Beyond Good and Evil apart from the rest. Number 31, Phantasy Star Online Episodes 1 and 2. User score 8.38 out of 10. While Gamecube had a capacity for online play, very few games actually supported it. Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2 was the main reason to own the adapter. Online RPGs are a dime a dozen these days on consoles, but Sonic's team game was many console gamers' first brush with an online world, and it developed a loyal following until Sega shut the servers down in 2007. Okay, so that's it. A look at 10 more of the best Nintendo games of all time. So if you enjoyed, don't forget to push the like button, leave a comment down below, of course subscribe to the channel. Follow my Twitter and Instagram links down below as always. Of course, we are partnered with TubeBuddy. First link in the description for your YouTube needs, tag types, thumbnails, all that good stuff. So that's what you need help with, like I did, especially on tags. Head down, join TubeBuddy today, and trust me, you want to hear what I'm about it. And of course, we're partnered on channel, so you want to hit down below and hit that join button to support myself on the channel and get a huge range of benefits. Be greatly appreciated. Of course, you never have to, but if you don't, you have to subscribe and watch the next video. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I've been Kaitos. I shall see you again very soon.